Our group chose the Pokemon dataset to analyze, and here is a presentation about our analysis results. And the reason why we chose Pokemon dataset is because Pokemon has become such a success ever since it was first released in 2016, known as the Pokemon Go, the game on the mobile phone. And it was so success that it was the most profitable mobile app in that year. And with time passing by, the craziness about Pokemon never faded. In 2019, it is still so popular among the public. The figure shows that the Pokemon Go has reached a number of 1 billion downloads, and it has also reached the profit of 3 billions. So we can't help wondering why is Pokemon so popular, and we want to know more about its Pokemons. And therefore we did this analysis about its Pokemons, and we want to know what type of Pokemon can be categorized as strong. In our data set, it is known as having a higher score, and also what variables are crucial in determining if it can be categorized as a legendary Pokemon or not. And in the end, we chose a specific Pokemon to see if it can be categorized as a legendary Pokemon. So this is a brief overview of our Pokemon dataset. We have 721 observations of Pokemons, and there are variables such as the hit points, the attack, the defensive strength, the special attack, the special defensive strength, and the speed for us to analyze its power, and it's categorized as the legendary. And there are also some variables that is not commonly seen, therefore needs further explanation, such as the type 1 and type 2. Type 1 is known as the main type, which includes bug, duck, dragon, electric, fairy, and type 2 is the vice type of the Pokemon, includes similar things such as the dark, bug, ice, and steel. It means that for some Pokemons, it has two types, type 1 and type 2, and it is also common to see Pokemon with only one type, that is a type 1. So we first run the linear regression of between the total score and also the hit point, attack, and defense and speed score between them and the two types, with the two types individually and also in their combination, to see which type or combination of type is important in our the attack and the hit point and total score determination. And this is the script of our linear regression. For example, the first line shows the linear regression of the total score to the type 1 variable, and the next slide shows us the output of this analysis, the linear regression analysis. We can see the summary of their linear regression and their coefficients of the type 1 and type 2. Next slide, we draw the conclusion of our linear regression. There are 5 of them. I'm just only gonna point 3 of them as examples. First, Pokemons with dragon as their main type and ice as their vice type tend to have a high hit point, and Pokemons with dragon as their main type and fighting or dark as the vice type tend to have a high attack strength, and Pokemons with dragon, electric, flying, psychic as their main type and fighting or flying as their vice type tend to have a high speed. We draw this conclusion from the previously mentioned the linear regression codes we have used. Next step, we want to see if the variables is important in categorizing if the Pokemon is legendary or not by using the logistic regression and the lasso model. And the step after that, we used a specific Pokemon to fit it in the decision tree to see if it is legendary or not. So this is the output of our linear logistic regression. From our script, we used we have a like a line of code ahead of the regular logistic regression by transforming generation, the variable, from number to factor to fit in the logistic regression. And then we apply type 1, type 2, hit point, attack, defense, and speed to the legendary to run this whole like logistic regression. And we have the conclusion that hit point, attack, defense, special attack, special defense, speed are all very significant in our legendary determination. And more specifically, the higher those variables are, the more likely for this Pokemon to be legendary. And the next slide shows we use lasso to like further run if it can be categorized as legendary. We fit the lasso model to Pokemon dataset and using legendary as the response and all the other variables as the predictors. And also we add the best runner to find the best model to run this lasso. And here is the script of our lasso, and the next slide is gonna show you the output of the model with the best runner, the coefficients of the predictors. And then we can see the predictors including the type 1 electric, type 1 flying, type 1 ice, type 1 normal, type 1 water, type 2 dark, type 2 dragon, type 2 flying, type 2 ground, total score, attack speed, defense speed, and the generation. They are all like important in their legendary classification, and these are their corresponding coefficients. And the third method we use is the decision tree. This is the output of our decision tree, and we also run the cross-validation to see the accuracy of this decision tree model, and it reached about 94%, which is pretty high, I think. The final step, we chose one specific Pokemon, which is Mewtwo, to fit its characteristics in our decision tree. Mewtwo is a type 1 physical Pokemon, and it is a generation 1 Pokemon with a total score of 680 and all the specific index of their like hit point and attack. And we fit these numbers into the decision tree to see if the Mewtwo is legendary, and the answer is yes. That's all about our presentation. Thank you for watching.